platform themselves. Now, do you think this will be beneficial or be detrimental to Congress, where you need an overwhelming majority to pass a bill?
I think it's beneficial overwhelmingly for the following reason, because I think anything that gets us more engaged is a good thing. Right now, we feel pushed out because a lot of us just don't feel that we have a home in one of these two parties, so we don't engage. I go back to my high school friends who, I can speak of because they're not here. They probably don't vote any more than most Americans vote. And that's a problem because they do have feelings about things. So they do have issues. Now, if we can find a way for people to engage in that's more meaningful and it's easier. I mean, the other reality of partisan politics is if this were my grandmother's era and we did have to go down to somebody's house to lick stamps and things, I don't know how many people would go anymore. Because we just don't live our lives that way anymore. We do everything. Think of how many industries the internet has put out of business. Right? Travel agencies. Who uses travel agencies? When I was a kid, we used to travel. Nobody uses travel agencies anymore. Encyclopedia salesmen. Anybody hear of encyclopedias when they were growing up on their bookshelf that you never opened? You guys for sure opened them. I never. That's why you're all smarter than me. That's why I didn't get into this institution. We don't sell encyclopedias anymore. You know, there's so many industries that have been put out because of this politics. And I think that if we can, and I would love to see the political parties go the way of travel agencies because I think they're anachronistic. And I think that if we can find a way that's more meaningful, we can create the orbits of the travelocity for politics and give something that's people, that's probably a cheap metaphor, but you know where we're going. But if we can create something that is more meaningful, I think that's a good thing. Now, you asked about the impact of whether or not we need Congress to pass a bill. I think how we organize politically is several steps away from what Congress needs to pass a bill. And I think that how we organize politically, if we could reshape that, it's probably not going to have a direct impact on Congress's ability to pass a bill. And let's be honest, no one's going to accuse them of being super productive anyway. It's not like we're going to halt the grind these wheels of progress if we change things, you know. So I think if we can find a way that's more meaningful engagement, we're going to be much better off for it. Thank you. One more. Yes.
Do you think that with the death of the two-party system, you'll see like a death of professional politicians in general? Like, for instance, Senator Byrd dying in office at 93. You know, do you think there'll be a better like rotation of people through the Senate instead of these career politicians who are in for pretty much their entire lives?
Yes, I do. And I don't know if it's because we're going to find a substitute that will be the direct cause of that, or if it's because the same things that are eroding the two-party system are also eroding our tolerance for career politicians. It might be some kind of correlation rather than causation. But yes, I do think that's going to happen as well. We talked to Darren tonight about where we're going to find our next presidential candidates. I also believe, along with all of this, that we're going to find more presidential candidates from outside of politics. In fact, we almost did in 2008. We elected somebody with probably as little political experience as we've ever put in office, but for George Washington. But he had virtually no political experience, but we elected him in part because he still had the outsider's mentality. If we could find somebody who can combine experience with an outsider's mentality, we would elect that person in a heartbeat. But I think that's where we're going because our tolerance for politics as usual for Washington, D.C. and establishment is at an all-time low, and it's not going anywhere. The linear trend that I talked about is impacting partisan politics as well as the politicians. So it's a long answer question, but yes, I absolutely think that along with all this, we'll see more and more people elected from outside of the traditional realms. And we'll see more turnover, people of diverse backgrounds. And they're diverse philosophies. I think you're going to see more and more people who had these combination of views that you never thought existed before because we thought that to be pro-environment, you also had to believe in high taxes. And it might not be the case if that's true. Thank you again.